Hey everybody, Syntax77 here, and today we're going to be checking out a brand new piece of backpacking and hammock camping gear from Dutchware Gear. Actually, brand new might not even be the right word to use. This is a prototype. They sent it out to me in a recent episode of Mail Call. I opened up a package that simply said Pup Tent from Dutchware Gear. Good boy. By the way, I have my good friend Denali with me here today, and that is integral to this video, I do believe, because this prototype, it's, I should point out, it's still in development. They're kind of working the kinks out. They sent it out to me. I emailed back and forth with Dutchware Gear, and they pretty much said, this is a prototype. We're kind of just playing with it right now, but we sent it to you because we wanted your feedback on it, because we know that you do go hammock camping with your dog. So basically, I figure I kind of crowdsource show this right now, and if you have any feedback out there, maybe you can help develop this product as well. Usually, Denali sleeps underneath of the hammock on a pad. I've done that on solo trips, and then also when I go with my wife, we have the Dutchware Bird's Nest hammock, and he slept underneath in that as well. But this here, as you can see, is kind of like, well, the name Pup Tent might suggest, it's kind of like a tent. It's hanging from my Ridgeline there. We'll get into that in a second. You also may notice, the astute amongst you as far as hammock camping goes, that my Ridgeline's a little crooked. I was pretty much dialed in perfectly flat when I set up, but because of the pressure from the tent, it's pulling it down a little bit. When I get in, you'll notice it kind of levels out. But pretty much what's going on here is we have a very light, well, miniature tent that is being held up by a line to my hammock suspension, and it's staked out at 4 points with just tent stakes. Now, because this is a prototype, it's in early development, I don't have all the specs for you, but as I can tell, there's like a bathtub style bottom on here that looks pretty resilient and waterproof, and then the sides look to be probably one of Dutchware Gear's nylon water resistant fabrics as well. In the front, I have a no-seam bug net mesh kind of going on there, and there is an adjustable point right here where I can kind of tension. It looks to be their reflective guy line, like a tent guy line, and that's keeping it up off the ground. The main idea being that your dog will have somewhere to sleep secure, especially if he's like Denali and he wants to feel like he's in a little, you know, nested area, somewhere to sleep, and it will also keep off the elements, particularly bugs, etc. Even if you didn't have it connected to your hammock Ridgeline, you could run just a guy line between any two trees, clip on this carabiner, and set up pretty instantly a tent with no poles required for your dog to hang out in. For testing today, I am using the new Hammock Gear Zippered bug net hammock, and I'm just going to sit in it real quick, and you will notice, I'm noticing instantly, it did sag a little bit because as my weight is applied to the hammock, it did cause my suspension to sag a little bit, which made his tent a little lower. But that's okay, maybe I can tension that a little bit more. And that's super simple with the hardware they have on here right now. A little plastic tensioner makes it a little tighter. There we go. It is pulling this end down, but like I said earlier, once I put weight in it, it kind of balances out. Oh, there we go. It looks more like a tent, doesn't it, buddy? All right. Let's get out and take a look at this. So there's a triangle here, 3 sides. On 2 of those sides, there's a zipper that I can open across the bottom and across the side. Flip that back. Go on in, buddy. Go ahead. I'll unclip you. So I don't know how much he's going to like this because he thinks we're just on a simple day hike, but we'll zip him in and see if he freaks out. And as I sit down, yeah, it loosens up a little bit, but it's not too bad. And Nolly is bug proof right now. How you doing, buddy? You good? You like this? Is it freaking you out? Here, I'll lay down. I would figure that if I was sleeping right now, I would have my head end down here with him. He's pretty much used to camping in a variety of conditions, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is no problem for him, but yeah, he's a little confused right now. But pretty cool. The bugs are off of him, and if I had a tarp up right now, then I would position it so that the end of the tarp, which for me is a hex cut hammock gear tarp, it would come down on an angle right here and it would cover up this mesh just fine to protect him from the elements. So far I'm thinking that shouldn't be an issue as well. I also noticed some, oh, look at that. Just like a standard tent, I can roll this back and I see a little loop here. And that's what the D-ring is for. Look at that. There you go. So it's pulled back now and Denali can come and go as he pleases. Which honestly, in a bug-free environment where you just want to provide a little bit of sense of shelter to your dog, he could walk in and out of this throughout the night if you have a lead on him or if you really trust your dog. Denali, I keep on a lead. And he could do his business in the middle of the night and whatnot and be just fine. That's pretty cool. As far as the tension goes, there is one thing I'm thinking of that might be potentially useful, but I don't know. When I use my previously mentioned Hammock Gear Cuben Fiber Hex Tarp, or Dyneema Fiber as they call it now, I often use Dutch hookworms, silkworms, etc. And on that system, they have little shock cord loops that take the tension out of the tarp, but they still take up the slack when you apply various weight and whatnot. It keeps the tarp nice and taut under a variety of conditions. All it is a loop of shock cord, so I'm thinking maybe if I make a shock cord loop, I guess I would have to play with the size of the loop. Let's make it kind of small. I'm going to clip it to that same carabiner. And now adjust the tension. Maybe that will kind of make up for the movement and weight distribution when I get into the hammock. So if I get in, yeah, let's see. I should probably tighten it a little more because it's not going to hurt. It's only shock cord. There we go. And when I get in, hopefully that'll take up a little bit of the slack. Yeah, it did. Look at that. Tent didn't move at all. So Nolly, you want to hop back in there? Come here. Go on. Oh, look, you're getting used to it already. Good boy. There we go. Hop in. Doesn't move at all. I think that might be a simple fix. Oh, hey, Syntax77 from the future here, and I just want to share something real quick that didn't occur to me until I got back home with this, and perhaps it would have occurred to me had I set up my tarp when I was out there, but this doesn't apply to everybody. But for those of you like me that run a continuous ridgeline on your tarp, which is a whole nother subject, but basically in a normal tarp setup you have separate lines coming off of each end of the tarp, but a continuous ridgeline is a single line that goes directly from tree to tree and your tarp slides back and forth on it for easy adjustment. Had I had that set up, and had I set it up with the ridgeline running underneath, which is yet again another subject, you can run it over top or below your tarp, but if I had run that ridgeline underneath of the tarp, I probably could have just clipped this guy right to the tarp ridgeline, and that would have eliminated any of the factors from my weight in the suspension of the hammock. This is something I still got to experiment with, but it's just a thought. That being said, not everybody has a system like that, so for a standard tarp, it's probably best that I showed it the way it is in this video, but just wanted to share a little food for thought there. Alright. And now Nolly and I are lounging. Bug-free. Now today the bugs aren't out. Luckily, it's early fall. It's feeling pretty good out here, but no bugs. But how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this, actually, now that I'm here looking at it, I could totally see myself using this. So yeah, I'm sure there's some other things I could do to work on this. Like I said, if you put it between just two trees on a ridgeline, you could do this without a hammock at all, just a tarp over top or whatnot. It also makes me kind of think, I've never seen one before that I know of, but why couldn't you do like a human-sized version of this for, well, a human? Devil's advocate, the first thing that pops in my head when I say that is, well, if there's two trees to put a ridgeline on, why wouldn't you just use your hammock? But I know it's hard to believe, but there are people out there that just don't enjoy, they can't get comfortable sleeping in a hammock.
That's enough out of you. Leave this room and report to the principal's office immediately.
I can. I love it. If I can use a hammock instead of a tent, I'm totally going to do it. But for campers out there that don't enjoy a hammock, but they want something simple and lightweight, I mean, this is a way to get a tent without poles. If you had a rectangular version of this that was like human sized and 2 ridge lines, I mean, this thing would be incredibly light and easy to set up. Just a thought. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming right now. Let's let Denali back out here. Zip. Roll that back up for you, buddy, so you can come and go as you please. Here, I'll clip you back up. Don't need you running off after any deer. We've seen a couple today. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to share that with the viewers out there today and anybody else out there who's kind of interested. I never even thought of this, but that is a testament to Dutchware gear. They're always pushing the envelope, aren't they? Please let me know your comments, suggestions, feedback in the comment section below. Let's get some discussion going. What do you think about this, the potential for it, maybe anything to improve it? And yeah, we'll take it from there. So there you have it, the new prototype pup tent from Dutchware Gear. Till next time, I'm Syntax77, and you have fun out there.